Art. For some, it's a mode of expression, while for some it's an escape from the monotony of human life. But the beauty about art is that its meaning changes from person to person. In this three-part series, I take a look at three different artists and find out what their art means to them. Let's take a look at part one of three.
The dichotomy of photography as an art form is a very interesting subject. Anyone can take a picture on their phone and call themselves a photographer, but at the same time there are many intricacies and minute details involved whilst taking a picture. Catching up with Michael J. Idzerda, fondly referred to by his peers as MJ, I had a chance to know what photography means to an artist.
How I got into photography, it was one of those evolutionary things. You know, when you're a kid, you're inspired by things you see. My father had some film cameras and he let me play with them. And I think I broke one, and I used it in my Lego bin. You know, played with it. And then I think I had a camera as early as probably grade 7, grade 8. Took it on field trips, and it just sort of went from there. And when I went through high school, I had a really bad experience in the darkroom where all my pictures that I had taken just disappeared, and I vowed never to go in the darkroom again. And since then, I've always relied on having film processed. But when I went to art school, learned more about photography, the history of photography. I never took photography courses. I actually took new media. So I sort of came back to the camera.
Here's what MJ had to say about his perspective of art.
Photography is, like many other art forms, it's a form of expression. It's also a form of understanding. It's a way to understand the world around you. And that may seem strange that you have to sort of rely on a device in front of your eye, but when you put your eye behind a viewfinder or compose an image on your phone, something's happening, and you're looking at the subject. Even though it's in front of you, you can look at it with your eyes, but you see, you know. But when you're using a phone or a camera, you're doing this. You're framing. You're basically putting a frame around something, and you're asking a question. What do I want to say? What am I trying to say? Do I have to say something? And so all those questions sort of come into your mind. And I think what photography has done for me is allowed me to be quiet and be still and really start thinking about what it is that is in front of you. And it's really a way. In a way, it's a meditation. And I said this years ago on my website. I think that it's a connection between you and your subject. It's this meditation. Like, what am I looking at? What is this thing that's in front of me? How do I feel about it and its presence in the world, and myself too, through that. So I think that's ultimately what photography is.
And that, in a nutshell, is photography. For FNN, I am Butter Shake.